This is Mr. Potato Head. Everybody knows Mr. Potato Head. He actually brought this, I actually got this from Amazon, and my daughters were upset that I was using it for class and they couldn't play with it. But the interesting thing about Mr. Potato Head, he's only useful for all his parts. So you take away his hat, give you the hat, his eyes, give the camera person the eyes, the nose, the ears, the eyes, another ear, arm, yeah, arm forces. There you go. You get. I'll keep the feet so it stands up and doesn't fall. But you can notice how the Mr. Potato Head's still Mr. Potato Head, but he's much less appealing, much less interesting. He doesn't really have his full function. Likewise, the church is not the church if all the parts aren't connected and aren't served. Today I'm going to be talking about the need for how church leaders need assistance and how we need to help with that assistance. How giving and accepting the invitation for participation actually brings a church into balance, and the entire church and her members benefit from full participation. As a member of our leadership of my church, I'm an assistant pastor, so I know a lot about this. I see it. I try to connect people with different ministries and different things like that our church is doing. So first, I'm going to talk about from a two-stream type thing. I'm going to be talking from leadership and from being just a part of the church, being a member. For leadership, here's some stats about pastors. 25% of pastors' wives see their husband's work schedule as a source of conflict. 40% of pastors and 47% of spouses suffer from burnout, frantic schedules, and/or unrealistic expectations. 45% of pastors experience depression or burnout. 8% say they have insignificant time with their spouse. And 90% work 50 hours a week or more. That is a lot. I don't think we understand fully what a pastor does. We think they get up on Sunday and preach, maybe make some hospital visits, but there's so much to do. If something doesn't get done at the church, who's at fault? The pastor. So now I'm going to talk about the people and the problem with the people. Not the problem, but the problems they face. Out of a research that was done by Lifeway, and this is why people leave a church, that doesn't include moving or life changes. 20% said they switched because they felt like they weren't being helped enough to develop. And another 20 felt like they were disengaged. And I think that if you're growing, you can only go so far until you feel like you need to participate. You can only grow so much before you actually have to, before you can just sit on the sidelines and you have to do something. And so I think 28% is because they're not involved. And so pastors need help, and people are disconnected because they're not being involved. So 1 Corinthians 14:26, it says, when you come and meet, come with a song, hymn, spiritual song. What it's saying is don't just come to participate, come and bring something. But this requires from the leadership for them to seek help. Create avenues for people to help and participate. Address needs. So if there's a need that needs to happen, address it, have a way for people to be involved, and then invite people to participate in it. If you're a church member, seek to help. Be willing to ask leadership what they need help with. Be willing to do anything within reason. I'm not asking you, if it's ridiculous, obviously you shouldn't do that. But if you're willing to help, be willing to take out the trash, be willing to sweep, be willing to shovel snow, be willing to do the things that need to get done that a lot of times the pastor has to do. And follow through and be consistent. So if you're going to say you're going to do it, do it. So here are the benefits of church leadership. Ephesians 4:11 is where they're talking about the fivefold ministry. Teachers, pastors, evangelists, prophets, and why can't I think today? I'm sorry. And apostles. The fivefold ministry. The people who are designed to equip the saints to do ministry, which means all saints are meant to do ministry. It's not just for those five. And so the benefits for the leaders is they'll have more time with their family. If they're doing less of the small things, if they're doing less of the picking up trash and the normal stuff, they'll have more time to spend with their families. They'll have more time to do what they're actually called to do. Most of the stuff they do aren't actually being a pastor, it's actually teaching. It's doing the little things that needs to get done as part of their service, but isn't really their focus and their calling from the Lord. And you get to see your church grow. The more they participate, the more you see individuals grow. If the individuals grow, the church grows. And for people, the members of the church, they get to know and connect with leadership and other members in the church. They get to be part of a team. They grow in maturity and intimacy with the Lord. I don't know what else is better than that. You get to grow. You get to use the things that God has shown you and taught you and developed in your life. And you get to become more like Christ because he's a servant and he does the same thing. So in conclusion, we've discussed how the church needs help, how the leadership needs help, and how we as people need to be helping. We've looked at how giving an invitation, accepting an invitation, is both something that benefits both parties. And we've talked about how the entire church benefits from full participation. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Mr. Potato Head back up here. And as I close, I want you to put your part of the Mr. Potato Head back on the potato. And when you think about it, think of ways that you can help. Think about ways that you can participate in the church. And think about ways that you can help grow God's kingdom.